Warning, Prospect Watch is not your average hockey podcast, and that's okay with us. Our goal is to introduce you to stars in the making from all over the world. They may not be household names yet, but we assure you they will be soon enough. Welcome to Prospect Watch.
Hello and welcome to Prospect Watch, a podcast that focuses solely on the discovery and promotion of some of the best young talent in the game today from all reaches of the world. I'm your host, Lance Green, and along for the ride, as always, is Steel, my co-host.
How you doing today, folks? Thanks for watching Prospect Watch. We got a good one for you here today.
For sure we do. This week's special guest is none other than Brooks Bandits rookie forward Nathan Free, who at only 16 years of age has been making quite a name for himself already this season playing in the Alberta Junior Hockey League. Nathan, how are you?
How you guys doing?
Good. Thank you for agreeing to be on the show, and sorry for the break in your busy season, but we appreciate you joining us for sure.
Hey, Lance.
No problem.
Lance, why don't you break down this young man here so we understand who we're talking to, and let the folks know who we're talking to.
For sure. Now, folks, this episode is a bit different from ones we've done in the past. Nathan is not an overager or late bloomer like the players we've had on. Instead, he's a player that has not yet reached the eligible age to be drafted by an NHL team. But that doesn't mean that he is one that teams should not be at least starting to take a look at. So
truly fitting into the mold of prospect,
right? So for those of you who aren't familiar with Nate's game, I'm here to tell you soon will be. Now, like previously stated, Free is only 16 years of age and it's currently in just his first full season playing for the Bandits. So while he may be currently buried on a depth chart playing behind older players such as Aiden Fink, Dario Belijo, Hudson Malinowski, Hunter Wallace, and Elliot Dutel, let it be known that his skill set may be even good enough for him one day to surpass their stat totals and thus carry on this dynasty's tradition of winning championships. What makes Free so special, you might be asking? Well, I think Nathan has one of the most impressive shots of any 16-year-old I've seen in an awfully long time. In fact, his shot, which I believe to be not too far off from being NHL caliber already, is so smooth and quick upon release that I would dare say even on such an offensive juggernaut of a team as the Bandits, Free's lamplighter stands out immensely. So far this season, Nathan has 6 goals and 9 assists for 15 points in 21 games played, with 2 of those goals and 2 assists totaling 4 points just coming in the last 5 games alone. Free's game appears as though it is really starting to come on a bit, huh, Steel?
I mean, you think just a little bit?
Right. I mean, yeah. And again,
it's
folks,
impressive. It really is impressive.
Right. And again, folks, he is only just 16 years of age. Just think about what it'll be when he's 18 and getting ready to attend and play for that Penn State Nittany Lions, who he just committed to.
Oh boy. We might have to get into a little bit there, Nathan.
Right.
For sure. But I got to tell you something, Nathan, just looking at your last 5 games, and man, I'll tell you what, you really do know how to put it in there. And as basically with what Lance was saying, you're not really getting the huge amounts of ice time,
just yet.
Some of the other players ahead of you are. And that's what that much more impressive with what you're doing. So that's why we wanted to talk to you. That's why you're on the show, Nathan. So thank you very much for coming on.
No problem.
All right, we're going to get right down into it here. And what do you think, Lance? Should I start off?
Yeah, start it off.
Here we go. So how did you come to be recruited to play for such a highly decorated organization as the Brooks Bandits? Like, what was the process, and how did you get to be wearing that sweater?
Beginning of last year, before my first like U18 full season, I went to an AJHL like showcase camp, and there was like a coach from every team at the camp, and
Oh, wow.
they reached out to me. They asked me to come to camp like a year before I was eligible to play on the team,
Whoa.
and I couldn't come. I was injured, but we kept in touch. I affiliated for the team next year, and I actually I joined the team for playoffs just as a affiliate. I traveled with them. I practiced with them every day. I got to go to the national championship last year, which was super cool.
Oh,
Yeah, and
wow.
then just from there,
Okay,
coming to camp this year.
That made it pretty easy then, huh?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, for sure. That was going to be actually my next question. I thought you got to jump in with the Bandits at the tail end of the season last year. So, can you talk a little bit about like going from playing, U18 and Calgary to all of a sudden jumping on with the Bandits and seeing this playoff run and going to the championships, and then on to the league championships, the CHL championships as well.
Yeah. Well, just after the season ended, I hopped right in, and then it just, even the practices with the team were funner than games in my U18 league. Like, it was just awesome. Like, with a winning team like that, they have to have good coaches and good practices, and just the players like McAllister, Hughes, and Bookman, like they were unreal to see and like practice with. It was such a cool experience. And then also just seeing what it took to win, like just what it took day in and day out by these guys to be the best team in Canada.
Wow, that's really amazing, because we got to talk to two of those players that you mentioned, okay, at McAllister and Bookman, and they both said basically the same thing at how when they were brought into the team, and that this is going to be my question for you.
Mm-hmm.
When they were brought into the team, somebody kind of took them under their wing and kind of, showed them the ropes. So who was it for you? Or who is it for you? Or who's that person that kind of, said, "Hey, Nathan, here's how you do this," right?
Yeah. So I'd say last year for sure the captain Ethan Lund just really was really like super nice to me, and tried to have some conversations when I first came up, because obviously I didn't know any of the guys, and then just as it went, I just felt like I was really part of the team, and yeah, so he really helped me, and then Nick DeGraves too, who isn't with the team anymore, but they were really good showing me the ropes and everything like that, and I feel like one of the veterans this year, just having the experience last year really helped.
Well, that's awesome. That would be quite the experience for sure. So currently you stand at only 5'9". Now you could still grow a couple of inches. We all know that, but for the most part, you've been dealing with the struggles of being a diminutive player your whole career. Can you tell us a little bit about how you've gotten around your lack of size, and maybe how you even found ways to possibly use it to your advantage?
Yeah. So my dad was smaller as a kid. He's like 6'4", 220 now. So
Oh,
Oh my
he doesn't
there you
deal with
go.
that anymore. Yeah. So it might be coming, I hope it is. But he was smaller as a kid too, playing hockey growing up. And so he got me running hills with weighted vests, like hill sprints, like super young, like even like 13, 14, and just being faster than everybody. He made sure that like I was the fastest, or else it was tough to play, honestly, because I was my first year in U15s playing AAA. I was 5'1", maybe. I don't even know if I was 100 pounds. So, I just had to make sure I'm quick and able to dodge hits, and obviously play with my head up. Stick handling, that's another thing. Is I always had to make sure I was good at the skills like that, or else like I wouldn't be able to cut it either with injuries or just not being good enough at my height.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to tell you, I can relate, because I stopped at 5'10", and I played football, And so there's no way there's 5'10", 186-pound centers or offensive linemen that are that size, right? So I had to learn early on that it was not going to be sports for me. So can you describe to me what type of player you consider yourself to be? Like, what type of game do you have, or who do you model your game after, or along those lines?
So I like to model my game after, I'd say, Cole Caulfield or Jack Hughes, kind of one of the younger guys. Like I'd like to think I have a pretty
That's
good
pretty good
shot,
company, yeah. Mm-hmm.
and smaller guys, younger guys, just it's great to model after. Just seeing how well they're doing in the NHL is just see how I can like translate some of the stuff they do into my league.
For sure, yeah, that's a pretty good player to model your game after.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
pretty good company, I think. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm an old goaltender. I gotta say, who might, I know it's early on in this season, but who in your history of playing or possibly this season would you say has been the hardest goalie to maybe score on for you in particular?
That'd have to be Ethan Barwick on my team. He's unreal, and like you don't usually see goalies like that. Obviously D1 committed and best goalie in the league, best numbers, trying as hard as they can in practice, and I just love it. I think it's great. I love shooting on goalies that like try in the morning skates. It's awesome. Yeah, he's super good. Just even game shots, I feel like are easier to score than some of the walk down warm up shots on him. So,
wow. Yeah, he is amazing for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of your shot, we had mentioned that your shot as being one of the game's best, as far as quality. But can you tell us something about maybe what you'd like to work on, or maybe could you tell us what got you to the point where you have such a really good shot, such an NHL caliber type shot?
Yeah, so I have my entire garage. My parents don't park in there. It's a shooting gallery. It has the shooting tiles. The entire floor is covered. The probably 7-year-old net barely stands up anymore. But in the summer and well until this year, I was playing at home. So all year I shoot like 400 pucks a day, along with a stick handling routine, and kind of just try to model like Austin Matthews, like how he shoots. Like I'll pull it in my garage, just so I keep it game realistic. Because if you're just shooting pucks with no real intent, like you'll still get better, but it won't help as much. So keeping it game realistic and trying to model it after NHL player shots really helped me. And I feel like ever since a couple of years ago, I've had one of the best shots on every team I've been on. So it's really helped me.
You're honing your craft.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you can see some of the legends in multiple sports have put in that extra time, and people reference Kobe Bryant, for basketball, for being that guy who's first in, last out, and, even afterwards coming back and doing more. So, it shows already in your game, the work that you've been putting into your shots. So, I would hate to be that net for sure. I could see why it's barely standing up anymore with the type of shot you got. So, can you talk a little bit about your coach now? Ryan seems like he is a phenomenal coach, and obviously his legacy is building, as we say, championship after championship. But how might he have influenced your game thus far?
Yeah, obviously he's a great coach. He's the best coach I've ever had. You can just tell just how he talks, how he coaches, that he super experienced, knows what he's talking about. And he's really helped me just on the other side of the puck, obviously the defensive side, just with my defense and back checking and strength. Just because, like this year, I have to fight to be in the lineup, whereas every other year there's only 12 forwards on the team. So he really kind of uses like a fuel to help you like play better defense, because he kind of tells me like there's not much I can teach you offensively. He was also a goalie, I think, playing hockey. So yeah, he just makes sure that in practice that when we do like defensive zone drills or like battle drills and stuff like that, that I'm really doing my best and paying attention. And if I have something off, he'll jump on it right away and help me with it. Yeah, he's great.
Awesome. Well, I mean, he's got to be. He was a goalie, right? So
something about them goalies, right?
Right.
Well, I got to tell you something, Nathan. Now, for a long time, I was a chef, okay? And so I always ask all of our prospects this just because I was an old chef. And I'd like to know, like, do you have a special pregame meal or anything that you like to eat before a game or anything like that?
Yeah, so actually, when I was here in preseason and during like camp, my billets were renovating another house out in Bassano, which is a small town, kind of near Brooks, but far away. So one of the games, they were out doing that before the game, and they didn't cook me a meal. So I went to Pita Pit, which is like one of the only restaurants in Brooks. There's not much here, but it's pretty good. Yeah, so I went there before the game, and then we played Okotoks, the Oilers, and I scored my first goal and had 2 points, and so I've had that every day, and it's been working. So yeah, I don't cook myself a meal, but
okay. So follow up on that then. So now, are you, since we have talked to a few of the previous players, do you have any like pregame rituals, or are you superstitious or anything? Do you put your right stuff on first or your left stuff on first?
So not really. I'll one thing I do is I have to change my tape job every period. Like not redo the same one, but I have to do a different one. Like if I use white tape next period, I'll use black tape. I don't know why, but it seems I score more when I do that. It's super weird, but obviously there's some really weird ones. Yeah, and that's mine.
All right, whatever works, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So our next question on the list here is, what is one thing fans would be surprised to know about you in general, maybe off the ice?
Well, oh yeah, during COVID, obviously not allowed to leave the house or anything like that. So I learned how to solve a Rubik's Cube, and I can do it in like 20 seconds. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
We might hold you to that.
Right?
Yeah. I'll see if I brought one. I'd have to go through my stuff. But
you find it, you call us back. We'll get you on, and we'll
yeah, for sure.
We'll time you, man. We'll get you down there, right?
That's impressive. Yeah.
All right, now I have to tell you something, Nathan. You've done something that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is committing to Penn State University. And what made you want to go to Penn State? What was it about Penn State? Did they come knocking, or how did that all? Why Penn State? Why did you want to go there?
So as soon as I started playing preseason with the team, all the schools came coming super quick, and I was kind of shocked because I didn't think it'd be that fast. Obviously, with a great organization like Brooks, it'll be faster than others, but it was still super quick. Yeah, and Penn State, they were the first to reach out, and I really respected them for that because obviously they weren't like they just wanted me. They weren't hopping on a train. Like we got to get him before other teams or anything like that. And Giuliano, the assistant coach who reached out to me, he was a super good guy, and obviously Coach Pap, he knew him, and he told me like Penn State's a great spot for you. It's a great organization. The coaches are great. Like he knows them personally, so I trusted him with that. And then obviously, a Big Ten program, a great team, obviously off to a great start this year. So like it was pretty much a no-brainer.
Okay. So yeah, since I've admitted that to you, I will be paying very close attention.
Yeah, for sure. I think Penn State would be a great school for you, Nathan. Just because the the past players that have been there fit your mold exactly, and that's probably why they recruited you so quickly, because you fit their mold as well. So we are, from this, side Penn State area. So we definitely, root for Penn State for sure. So
well,
be
I mean,
looking.
I
We'll
do.
to,
I don't know about Notre Dame over there,
hey,
but I
hey,
do.
I get to catch a lot of Penn State games for sure, being from the area. So I'm not rooting for them unless they're going up against Notre Dame. Let's just say that. So
all right. No, that's
acceptable. But all right. Well, this next one's kind of a two-parter as well. Being that your shot is what it is, what type of stick do you use? Flex, curve, etc.
So I changed it like 2 weeks ago. I was using a trigger 6 and a 7. I had one of each. I'd kind of just go back and forth. They're pretty much the same anyway, like just the store-bought one. And I broke both of them, and I didn't really have an option to get new ones. There's not many hockey stores in Brooks, so I started using just the team ones. Like they're a bit heavier. So right now I have just a Ribcore team that I'm using, and I have like a P28 standard, the big banana curve one, and I use a 65 flex. I used to use 55. I like the really low flex, so I can shoot it from anywhere, kind of like anywhere on my body, and I'll be able to get the flex. But they do break faster. But yeah, that's what I use.
All right. And the second part of this is, you kind of already mentioned it, but do you have any tricks, tips, drills of any kind for like the kids watching out there who might want to develop a shot like yours?
Yeah. So if you use one of your broken sticks and lay it out in front of you, well, if you're practicing shooting pucks, and you like have a pile off to the other side, and if you just pull it in and shoot, it makes every single one of your shots better, because not only does it teach you to use your flex, because when you pull it in right beside your body, you're really getting down on it, but it'll let you be comfortable shooting right beside your body. So that automatically makes you comfortable shooting where it normally is. And that I just did that like so much for so long, probably ever since I was like 8 years old, and it's really helped. So
awesome.
Wow. Plus the fact that you have the shooting gallery too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, get one of those if you can.
Get one of those.
We'll just get a garage, right? What is it, a 2-car garage, 1-car?
2-car, but no car now.
Right. Well, yeah, shooting gallery now.
Yeah.
Mom and dad to move their cars outside. It's all right.
So
yeah.
Okay, well, so when do you think they're going to be able to start being able to park their car in the garage?
They probably started doing it while I'm away, because I won't be using it for rest of the year. But I got to tell them to get it out in the summer too. So, yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So I'm going to ask this one other question here too, and this is, you're going to Penn State. What are you going to major in? Have you decided on what you want to do? I mean, like, look, like I had to figure out that, yeah, I want to play sports, but sports ain't going to want to play me. You know what I'm saying? And so what would you be doing if, first of all, what are you going to major in? And then what would you be doing if you weren't playing hockey?
Yeah, I don't really know a major right now, but I've really thought engineering would be pretty fun. That's my first thought. Obviously, I have this year and next year before it's even a possibility to go in. Right. And then maybe I don't right away. So I don't know. I think I'll probably think about it with time. But yeah, I feel like engineering, if I had to go into Penn State tomorrow and pick a major, it'd probably be that.
That's a good school for that specifically as well, too. So they have a really good program for that. You know what I mean? So, and then what would you, if you weren't playing hockey, what would you be doing?
I don't know. Probably just, I might play basketball. I wouldn't be very good because I'm so short, but I got some skills in basketball, but wasted potential maybe because no height. But yeah, I like basketball too.
Awesome. There you go, man.
All right. Well, that kind of leads into my last question for you. When you're not on the ice, off season, what are you doing? Is it just playing basketball with your friends, or is this? Can you elaborate on what might you be doing off season?
So obviously the normal stuff, right? Hanging with friends, playing video games, but me and my dad will go on bike rides every once in a while. Maybe mountain biking I have some fun with that. Skiing too. We like to ski. Yeah, but I'm on the ice tons in the summer as well, so I'm kind of always on the ice. Don't have time for much else.
Nice.
Do you have a rink close by to where your parents' house is?
Yeah, I do. Maybe 5 minute drive in
That makes it
Calgary.
nice.
So
Yeah, I was gonna say there's probably a lot of them from where he's from. So yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, when it's only 5 minute drive, that makes
Yeah.
it much easier and more
yeah,
convenient.
Yeah.
and most of the ice times are there anyway, so it just makes it that much easier.
Good deal.
Awesome. Well, I got to tell you something, man. This has been an absolute pleasure to speak to you, Nathan. We've been keeping an eye on. Obviously, we've talked to a few of the other players from the team, so we kind of keep our eye out on the team, and we spot the good players, and we really like your game. We really think you're one of those particular players that we feel is one of those prospects that you might not be a household name yet, but you soon will be. I think you just keep on keeping on and doing whatever them coaches are telling you to do, man. And I think you're going to be just fine and be a successful player in the NHL here real soon.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on too.
Yeah. Nathan, again, as far as I'm concerned, thank you again for being on the show. All the things are amazing. You're set with that great team that you're playing for currently. So we'll be watching the rest of the season, and maybe sometime later this season or possibly next season we have you on again to see where you've taken your game thus far. So again, all the best, and we do look forward to seeing you in Penn State here in a couple of seasons. So
actually,
thanks, guys.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you're going to do the rest of this season and maybe next season at Brooks Bandits, because I have a feeling, Lance, that this young man is going to probably blow the doors off next year.
I think so.
Yeah, I just has that feeling, man. I don't know. Nate, thanks, man, for being on, brother. We really appreciate you hanging with us and giving us the time. Lance, why don't you tell the folks where we can reach you and where we can get you?
Yeah, sure. You can always catch me on Twitter at LanceGreen39, and you can catch all of my latest stuff on SteelFlyers.com.
For sure. You can also check out the Prospect Watch show at www.steelflyers.com/links/Prospect Watch. Also, if you want to drop us a line at prospectwatch@steelflyers.com for the email. So be sure to give us a little jingle there. We'd love to hear what you guys think, especially about all this great young talent we have here on the show. Nathan, thank you very much for being with us, man. We really appreciate it.
Guys, thanks for having me on again. Pleasure.
You got it. We'll talk to you guys next time on the Prospect Watch. Thanks, everyone.